Highness Queen Birthday.
I could not keep a straight face.
Now you need to try on that new chapstick too.
Oh yes.
Explain again, calmly.
So, I forgot what thing had this movie, but it's the second night at the museum, the Battle of the Smithsonian. I really like it. I've been waiting months to watch it.
We watched the other ones when we were doing the staycation in Knoxville over the summer, but they had pulled this one and we were confused about the order and we went to look it up.
Yeah.
One of the other streaming services had it on borrow from Disney, but now they just got it back today.
Yes.
So we're going to watch that. I think we might need more snacks.
Mm-hmm.
There's more Sour Patch Kids. Mm. You're not excited at all, are you? Y'all excited? Have other than her, has anybody in here seen? I've not seen it. Have you all seen it?
No.
But it says Battle at the Smithsonian, which is a place on your
List.
bucket list.
He did it to Mom.
Yeah.
He did it to Mom. He did it to you, and he did it to Mom. I think that's Mom. Man,
Is that you?
Cool hair.
That is me. So there was a restaurant near where the one that we took you to today that did the same thing. They propped the sombrero on your head. They brought you a spot. Actually, that one they brought you Mexican ice cream that had like deep fried bits on top and drizzled with caramel sauce. But yeah, that was my 16th birthday.
And then that's in that photo.
And I think they took that photo on a I can't think of what it's called now. The cameras where the pictures pop out. Polaroid. They took it on a Polaroid and gave it to me immediately.
And now we have a bunch of pictures of people's faces.
So, used to, you couldn't just delete pictures. You actually had to wait for the camera to develop. And you had to wait for the camera to develop. And sometimes it would take 2 weeks for the film to develop before you got your pictures back and could see what they look like.
I thought that was just a thing during World War II.
No. And because, again, like I just explained, cameras used to have film that you had to put in them, and then you sent the rolls of film off, and then you would get them back like 2 weeks later. Or you could buy disposable cameras. I think actually that trip to DC, not the Polaroid ones, but the other pictures were taken on a disposable camera. And I think I got like 32 pictures per camera.
I have a history book from World War II where they did that. You're not that old.
No, I'm not.
At least I hope not.
Leg pages.
Yeah, I never finished filling it. It's okay. Maybe one day. I'll put some more old photos in there. I quit using that one as much though because it doesn't have like the plastic protector on the pictures, and the pictures, as you saw, don't stay glued in very well.
What about tape? You can just like tape the pictures down.
Some tape is actually really bad for pictures like that.
Stitch them in. You take a needle and thread and you literally just stitch it onto the page.
Which puts holes in your pictures.
It's not like you're taking them back out.
I actually have taken some out to use for copying for other purposes before.
That makes sense.
No, we did not put pictures on bread rolls.
I'm just
You know I was
imagining
totally
that-
kidding, right?
I'm just sitting here imagining that.
It's the great book of timeline that we have has pictures of camera rolls, film rolls.
I know, but whenever you say film roll, I imagine one of those old-timey Hollywood cameras where like it had the two big circles on top.
No, it was about this big, and you had a little pull thing out, and you had to put one pull thing from one side of the camera to the other and tuck it in, and then you had to wind it into place. And I had one that was fancy. It would click when it wound into place correctly. Then you close the back of it really quick because you're not supposed to put like a lot of direct sunlight on it. And then you took pictures as you went.
You couldn't have direct sunlight on your camera?
Not on the film before you close the back of it, because the direct sunlight on the film would destroy it. Which is also why film is usually
Radiation?
processed in a blank or in a dark room.
Radiation?
No, it was a light.
I'm just confused now. You had
There was no such thing except for Polaroids. There was no such thing as an instant photo.
instead of a camera card, you had these rolls of film like an old-timey TV cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And the pictures went onto this film.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere, somehow, bada bing, bada boom, bibbidi bobbidi boo, it gets processed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, bam, you got a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
And you had to pay to have the films developed. I think the last time I ever paid to have one developed, it was $8 for one roll.
Why didn't you just print it on your home printer?
Because at the time that I developed my last, and I actually still develop films after we got married, and we've just celebrated 19 years. So within the first couple of years, we were still using film cameras. I actually, for my graduation, was given my first digital camera, and it was amazing. That's what I took our honeymoon pictures on, was the digital one. But I actually had found an old film one, and I got it developed, and it was $8. And then not long after you were born, Walmart was no longer doing film drop-off.
Okay, did technology advance that fast, or am I just that old?
Technology advanced very fast. So when your dad and I were born, some people were still using 8-track. And by the time Dad and I graduated high school, iTunes had already been in business for a couple of years.
New question. What's 8-track?
It's a form of listening to music and audio before cassettes.
I thought that was just a boombox.
No, there are cassettes under this bench right here.
I know, but like...
But also, when Dad and I were born, most people had a landline phone where the cord was hooked to the base of the phone.
Like Grandma!
No, she has cordless. We had phones that were attached to its base by a cord. But then, by the time we graduated, we both had cell phones with texting ability.
Doesn't she have one that's like attached
Yeah,
to
on the
wall?
wall of the kitchen.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that.
When we were born, let me think of another one. When we were born,
Was black and
most
white TV
computers
still a
were
thing?
only in science labs. When we graduated, we owned a laptop.
A laptop? You didn't each have one?
No, we had a laptop. It was heavy and bulky.
You mean...
We didn't have our first cell phone, like smartphone, until Rebecca was born.
I remember the flip phones.
Yeah.
I still remember that there was this thing where like you could do a photo thing where all the photos would go by on your phone screen as your screensavers.
Correct.
So did technology advance that quickly, or am I just that old?
No, we were part of a generation that technology advanced very rapidly. And we're also in a weird stage because, like, we have no memory of the 80s, but we were born in the 80s. All of our knowledge is of the 90s. We have no memory of the 80s at all because the brain development, blah, blah, blah. But, like, things developed very, very quickly from the late 80s to when we got married in 2000s.
I'm sorry you had to live through 90s fashion.
Yeah, I think 90s was probably... Early 90s was weirder than 2000s. The makeup of the 2000s was weird. Early 2000s, but... Yeah. Any other history lesson questions while you wait for your sister
I'm so
to
cute
watch the
and
movie.
tiny.
How about this? Was black and white still a thing whenever y'all were kids?
No. So the only time that we saw black and white was when we watched VHS. The thing before DVDs.
I know. We watched VHSs at great grandma's.
Yeah. Until her VHS player finally gave out after like 30 years.
It literally spit the tape out. Oh wait, tape.
No, it didn't. It ate the tape. We had to pry it out.
Tape like that. That's what you were explaining with the camera. Right?
Yes. Same process.
There we go. Okay. Why didn't you just start with that? You could have led with that.
What is this?
So that is a CD with pictures of a photo session on it.
DVD.
Whoa,
CDs are
wait.
for music.
What?
No, CDs can also be used to copy pictures from a computer off of. So both of our computers are gaming PCs. It doesn't have a disk drive on it anymore. But used to, once laptops were invented, most computers had a CD-ROM on it. We actually had to buy a separate thing whenever we bought your 101 series, because the PDFs for the accreditation program are on a CD.
I thought CDs were only for music.
No, it's if you buy a blank one, you can put pictures, music. I actually have the first 50 videos on our channel on a backup on CDs.
That's unnerving.
Why would you put it on a CD? Why not save it to your computer?
Because I didn't have enough cloud space to hold that much memory.
And say something happens.
We have like 500 videos on our channel.
Who's
Okay.
this?
That's Dad, sweetie. He hadn't grown his beard yet.
What?
That is your dad the year before we got married.
Hey, Dad. Thank you for growing a beard. That's just creepy.
So when I met your dad, he was working fast food, and if he had not shaved, his boss would literally send him home until he did.
Wow.
Because back then they weren't allowed to back then they wouldn't make workers like nowadays you can wear like basically similar to a hairnet if you have facial hair when you work food, but back then they didn't. So like back then you were required to be clean shaven. That's why a lot of French chefs are actually clean shaven.
Well, I mean, I believe that. They're French.